the club, about yourselves, about your.
I'm a senior in mechanical engineering and my pronouns are she, her.
I'm Samantha Pagia. I'm a junior majoring in business analytics and finance, and my pronouns are she, her.
So I started my freshman year, first semester, so what was that, fall of 2022. And I just joined as a general member, and I slowly kind of decided I really wanted to take a larger role in it. So I became junior artistic director for one semester. And then I was senior artistic director for 3 semesters, and then I studied abroad a semester, came back as a general member, and this semester I'm senior artistic director for my last run.
I joined my second semester freshman year. I tried to be like as involved as possible, like going to extra events and everything like that. And then I was really interested in joining board, so the next semester I started being even more involved with the team, choreographing for the first time. And then I joined as junior executive director that spring semester, so 2025 spring? Yeah. And then I was junior for a year, and now I'm the senior executive director. We were founded at UIUC. Do you remember the year?
2002.
Yeah, 2002. And then it kind of grew from there. There was like a Chicago team, there was a New York team, there were teams like in Mexico, internationally in Europe. So it's like this huge franchise, and then during COVID, everything kind of downward sloped a little bit. So we're here. The team was very different back then. We didn't have like a lot of foundational training, and then kind of Tina's first year on the team kind of grew exponentially.
Like my dance background is mostly in foundational styles of hip hop in Washington, D.C., because that's kind of where I grew up around. And so I really wanted to bring a lot of that knowledge and training here in the Midwest. A lot of studios really focus on like all styles of dance and competition hip hop, which sometimes lack foundational training. Like they'll have bits and pieces of foundational styles, but those like really core styles that are key to hip hop and hip hop culture are kind of missed. So I really wanted to bring that. I tried doing it through the pieces that I choreographed for the team. So there's different styles. There's house, whacking, vogue, locking, old school, breaking, all kinds. And so I try to integrate those and teach the team those. And now there are a lot of members of the team who are a lot more comfortable in those styles and are actually choreographing and creating in those styles, which is great. And we also have our supervisor, sponsor, our staff sponsor, Vivian Kim. She's a professor in the dance department, and she's also super well trained in foundational styles. So we kind of, after she came to Purdue, it also kind of
Shifted a little bit.
Yeah, it shifted, and I think people are also able to take classes in foundational styles in a more academic environment, so that also helped. Like a lot of people are more experienced in house and such. So, yeah.
I started when I was 3, and I did like the basic, like little classroom ballet, tap, jazz type of thing. And then I actually only did tap till I was like 11, maybe 11, 12. And then that's when I started doing like more ballet, and I thought I was gonna be this huge like ballerina actually growing up. So then I did that. I did like point, which is like where you stand on your toes, till I was like 17, and then I started competing in like different styles of dance, and then I came to college and didn't really dance anymore, so then I was like, oh, I kind of miss it. But then I kind of also wanted a challenge, so then I was like, oh, this hip hop team is really cool. I know my family did hip hop like when they were younger, so then I was like, let me try this.
Big dance scene in the DMV area, and just on the East Coast and West Coast in general. So I just started directly in hip hop. I don't know if my parents were like, I'm not sitting through a ballet recital, or they just, I was a kid who like really couldn't sit still. So they threw me in hip hop. I was 6 years old, so I'm coming up on my like 16th year of hip hop, which is crazy.
Wow.
And so I just started like general classes, and then within the organization that I danced in, there were like sub-teams for dancers who wanted to train more and kind of grow more pre-professionally. So I started joining those, and eventually like the hip hop part of the organization split off into a different studio and kept climbing up in there. And then I knew that I wanted to do something with hip hop specifically when I came to college.
Yes. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7, 8. And like is unique about dance, like an art form or like a vehicle of self-expression and physicality in general.
Yeah. I think dance. I always call dance a sport, right? Like there's a lot of physical, competitive, like that kind of aspect of it, which makes it a sport. But at its root, and especially hip hop, is an art, and it's super rooted in history. And the Black community kind of birthed hip hop out of oppression in the United States, and that still is a part of it to this day. There's multiple artistic elements of hip hop, and dance is just one of them. And so, and it's all rooted in expression. There were people in the Bronx when hip hop was born who didn't have a means of expressing themselves, or not welcomed into other spaces, and that's where hip hop came from. It stemmed from graffiti, MCing, DJing, and breakdancing, which are all forms of expression and all help people voice their joy, their frustration, their identities. So
I like how you do counts, though. I was just gonna sing.
Oh.
I don't know what the counts are.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
This has been a huge coping mechanism for me. Just ever since I was a kid, it's a huge form of self-expression, and even with the piece last semester where I was able to integrate my own culture and my own language and music style into the team, it was super important to me and others who did the same for their cultures. And
I think the time management is crazy. You'll go to our practices. We start at like 9:30, 9:15 p.m. and don't end till like 12:30 a.m. So definitely that time commitment is something that you have to be willing to do. Even though I have sleep deprivations, I do think that the more involved you are in it, the more rewarding it is. Like taking on this executive position, it was not easy. It's probably one of the hardest things I have to do in college right now. But I think it translates a lot into my work ethic, just in my everyday life as well. Like,
I think being on board, it's super easy to get completely sucked into what you're doing. Like, I think, especially in the artistic position where it's kind of a continuous job throughout the semester, it can be super overwhelming because, like we were saying, there isn't necessarily like a perfect final product. We have to reach this goal and this goal. There's always more. So I'll find myself working from like 6 p.m. to like 5 a.m. on like the music, just because I can. And it could be probably super good in 3 hours, but like looking for little sound bites, looking for things that I know the team will like, or I know the audience will like, asking other people. I feel like the biggest challenge is getting so sucked into it that it starts to feel like a full-time job instead of something you're supposed to enjoy. I think that's kind of something that happens sometimes. And it all comes together by the show, because when there's nothing left to do and all you can do is just sit there and enjoy it, it always feels great. But especially in like board positions and feeling so committed to the team, that combination can kind of be super overwhelming sometimes.
But I think we're really lucky too with our team this semester. Like everyone's very invested in the team, and like everybody wants to help out. Like we had, I think like the most submissions for choreography for our next set. Than we've ever had before. So we have our showcase coming up March 28th, Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. So be there. We're also competing at Indie Open the next weekend,
April 4th.
April 4th. And then,
And then the next week.
and then the weekend after that, April 11th, we have a showcase Urbanite in Chicago. So a lot of busy weekends coming up after spring break. In the end, it's all this fraction. Okay.
Dance has become super racialized a lot of times on the East and West Coast. So even though a lot of the dance community and a lot of the culture of hip hop is prominent on the East and West Coast, the Midwest kind of has this unique sense of we only have each other. And so it's like, because we're kind of far from everyone else. So it's nice. It's a nice community. I'm glad I joined.
A special role that community plays in the art form of dance.
I think I feel like Dance2XS Purdue has really become my second family, if anything. And I mean, I can't speak for everyone. Everyone has different experiences on teams, but the amount of time you spend together and the amount of vulnerability that you show in front of these people that you're dancing with, because I mean, putting yourself out there and doing any kind of dance, whether it's competitive or not, is super hard, right? You're basically like, here it is, and you hope that people like it. So
I think like we're like kind of like the different dance teams on campus are like each other's kind of network in the dance world. So it's like we know we can help each other out, and like we know that we're kind of all going through the same things, and like our schedules are crazy right now, and I don't know, it's just kind of good to like know that people are going through the same kind of craziness that you are, and the same thing like within the team as well, like what she said, the vulnerability of like everybody being together in this like, I don't know, Ava kind of said it best last semester. We're kind of like creating this like baby together where it's like, oh, we're all taking care of this team together.
Is kind of the art itself. Is that do you find that that's challenging, that maybe there's like no end products to speak of, or is it freeing that you don't have to worry about that?
I think, I think from an artistic position, it can be super hard at times because, I mean, and honestly with any art, but especially dance, there's only so much you can perfect it before it's time to put it in front of other people. And so I think it can be super challenging from an artistic perspective when you have a vision and you're trying to bring it to life, and you have to be super flexible and super adaptable to your dancers, to your team, and just put a lot of trust into, honestly, the other choreographers. We have a super democratic,
I also think for me, like my relationship with dance has changed a lot, being on this team specifically. Like I think for me now, it's more about like creating art with the people I love. And it's not like about an end product really, it's more about process, having fun, being proud of what I'm putting out there.
And especially since we don't do competition, and I think I'm maybe more comfortable. We do
We're doing
one,
one.
but we're not a super there's like the Purdue dance team and Gold Dusters, and a lot of their second semester is just competing, like it's just preparing for competition. But I mean, I think 2XS Purdue is similar to kind of my upbringing in dance. Like I never did competition dance. I did like one competition in my years leading up to college, but it was super about showcase, and it was just about presenting a piece of art with the people you love to people